Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Sesh. So, last year, around, I don't know, it was like May, June, July, sometime last year, I made a salsa on my last YouTube channel that I was just kind of, and here's a garden salsa. I used primarily vegetables that I had in my garden, I believe. Definitely the peppers and tomatoes, but there was something else that uh, I had several ingredients I had to pick up from the grocery store. Now, it's kind of the same case this year. I'm working with herbs and peppers from last year and tomatoes from the garden this year. But I'm also going to be using a red onion and garlic from the grocery store. But that's the only thing I had to pick up from the grocery store, just a red onion and some garlic. Oh, and cilantro, I believe. But I think the cilantro we have is safe. There's a current outbreak of a poop parasite that's making people just lose their fucking shit, literally. And hopefully the cilantro we got is in fact safe. So we're gonna find out. Might be poisoning myself today by trying to make salsa out of my own garden. So anyways, I've got a Cherokee purple tomato and then a delicious tomato variety. I've got two of the Cherokee purple. Those are really going to be for flavor mostly. And then the delicious tomatoes are more so just okay. They're just a normal standard kind of tomato flavor profile. That's mostly just for the bulk filler of it, just to, make it juicy and consistency is, nice and smooth and everything. So, and then of course, like I said, red onion, garlic. I'll use a little bit of sage, a little, I've got some oregano that I'm going to use. What else? What else have I got? I'm going to throw the cilantro in there, as I mentioned. That should be good. But of course, you'll see everything when we get to the kitchen. I've got the DSLR right here. We're going to actually take it up and get some shots of me cooking and everything. So, before I go and do that, we have one more thing to take care of. There's something I've got to do. Something I've got to do here. Something I've got to do. Something I've got to do. Something I've got to do that I have to be careful about how I speak about it on this godforsaken app. Website, really, I guess. App, website, same shit, whatever. So, I've got a thing over here. We're gonna do a thing, so just one second. All right, let's get to cooking. All right, here we are in the kitchen. So you're going to want to start by prepping all your ingredients. I've got the tomatoes, onions, cilantro, peppers, and garlic sitting here in front of me, but I also use some oregano and sage and lime juice and a little avocado oil as well. So, of course, we're going to start by chopping some stuff up. You can just do a rough chop on this stuff. It's all going to go in the blender together. So I just started with the onion and started prepping the cilantro, or oregano and sage, and then moved on to stripping some of the cilantro. Now, actually, with the sage, I put a little bit in the pan, and I also reserved a little bit to sprinkle directly into the blender. So, getting a range of the profile there. And I'm just chopping up the peppers to get in the pan. Those will stay intact. I'll use all the seeds and everything. And then I just basically just cut the tomatoes in half and cut out any excess core that remained after trimming off the top there. But these are all pretty nice out of the garden. They all turned out decent. And another thing worth mentioning is I should have left the garlic whole. I should have just left it whole. Some of the pieces end up getting burnt, and that's less than ideal. But here we're gonna just dump in a little bit of organic avocado oil that we had in here. I figured it would be more appropriate than olive oil for this. I probably could have used just a little bit more, to be completely honest. But you can see there, the garlic pieces down to the left corner and to the left top are not getting oil on them, and you can see they got charred. But everything else has a nice char on the skin. I could have let it go for a little bit longer, but I decided this point was fine. And you could actually use an infused oil, by the way. You could use any infused oil that you have. You can use that to put over that. But you'll remove the skin from the tomatoes, then throw all of your ingredients together in the blender and give it a nice blend. And you'll just stop whenever it's to the consistency you like. I wanted this one to be very smooth. So that's just what I prefer. I don't like chunky salsa, so that's what I got out of it. I was kind of unhappy with the color, so I added a little bit of smoked paprika here. And ideally, I probably should have put a little bit more and some cumin. Cumin would have helped the flavor a little bit, and it would have helped the color. And I was also missing out on just a little bit of salt, too. Could have added a little salt as well. But otherwise, it's very nice. It turned out very decent. I think my V3 salsa is going to end up being the winner. But we're going to try this out here. I just decided to grab a little chip, give it a little taste, and then we'll head back to the room. So that was great. All right, let's go taste it together. All right, so we are back in the room. I've got some of the salsa right here in this dish. It is a little thin, and I've got some chips here. It is a little thin, so a couple of notes before I even talk about the taste or anything. There are a couple things I definitely forgot that I should have done. I should have put whole pieces of the garlic in the pan for roasting. I should not have sliced it up like I did. I should have just put the whole cloves in there and then just blended it up with everything. I got a little overzealous with the chopping, so that's my own mistake. And then, man, my hair's fucked. Huh. But aside from that, I also forgot some cumin. I forgot to put cumin in there, so it's missing a little bit of the flavor that I'm looking for, but it should still be pretty good. Let's give it a shot here. I've got a chip here. It is a little bit runny as well, although this is still kind of warm, so it could be slightly due to the fact that it hasn't been chilled yet. But you see, it's got a nice burnt orange kind of color to it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking needs cumin, a little bit less lemon or lime juice, and maybe just slightly less cilantro for my own personal preference. But otherwise, I think I'm working with a good little recipe here. So still learning points here. My first one was rough. The first one was just barely edible, really. But this one's good. This one's definitely edible. If I sat down at a restaurant and ate their salsa and it was like this, I'd be perfectly happy. It's very flavorful. It's a little too acidic for me. I would like it a little bit on the more like earthy side. A little bit, maybe a little bit more charring. But the garlic messed me up on this one. Maybe a little bit more charring on the peppers. and tomatoes. A little less lemon juice or lime juice. I keep saying lemon. A little bit less lime juice. I think we've got a winner. Or, hey, you know, maybe adding in the cumin will help offset that acidic lemon juice kind of a flavor. The cilantro and lemon juice kind of show out a little bit more than I would really like. Somebody's lurking because they want some food from me. They're not getting this. Two of those little Tabasco peppers is perfect for this amount, for like the amount I've made. I made about, I don't know, it probably comes out to somewhere like 4 cups or so. So if your salsa is going to end up being roughly about 4 cups. 2 of those Tabasco peppers, 4 of the Shishitos. They do the trick. Because the Shishitos add a nice bit of flavor. They help build up some flavor in the broiling aspect, getting a little bit of a char on the skin. And I left the skin on the peppers. I just took the skin off the tomatoes. Those peppers were frozen, so the skin on those is like really soft. It blended right up. The tomatoes have a little bit tougher of a skin and they don't blend up as easily. So, yeah, I'd recommend doing it that way. And this is just something that like I just kind of made up really. I think I watched 1 or 2 videos just to get an idea of the certain ingredients I'd be looking at, what I would potentially choose. Then went with this mix of stuff. I'm pretty happy with it. That was the last tortilla chips I brought down with me. But I do have, I was snacking on a bag of salt and vinegar chips earlier. We can see how these interact. Let's get a nice big one out of here. Let's see what this does. Just out of fucking curiosity, you know? Here we go. Woo! With the added vinegar or the salt and vinegar from the chips, the shit tastes like a spicy Italian dressing. It's actually kind of a cool flavor. I wasn't expecting that to be as good as it is, but that's actually pretty tasty. Alright, so there you have it. There's my garden salsa V2. So definitely headed in the right direction. Last year, there were some weird aspects to it. It was not oily and juicy enough. It was too dry and chunky. And like the flavors weren't quite right. It was way too spicy. I put like 5 or 6 of those little Tabasco peppers in it, and it made about the same amount of salsa. I made about 4 cups of salsa. That was way too many of those for even me in my household. Even my dad was like, it's a little bit much. Just a little bit too much for our preferences. But 2 of those little Tabasco peppers with 4 of the Shishitos in there for the flavor. It's nice balance happening. Just got to tweak it a little bit. V3 will definitely be the move, I think. V3 is going to be where it shines, where I really nail it. So yeah. Y'all might see some Sesh salsa hit the market, you know? But anyways, not really. Probably never. But yeah, so that's that. Other content coming to the channel. You can expect to see a growing video very, very soon. I'm looking at probably the beginning of Um, well, hold on, pause. The end of August to the beginning of September, somewhere is when I'll do that, or when that'll be up. The plants are cut down. They're about 3 days into the drying process. And things are going smooth. Humidity has been around 60%, so that's kind of the edge. I don't really want it to be much higher than 60. I would actually prefer somewhere around 50 to 55 is what I think would be mostly ideal for that. But it will naturally kind of start to come down over the next couple of days or so. That first week is usually when the humidity peaks and kind of works down. And that second week is usually, I find, where it really stabilizes at, 52, 53, somewhere around there. At least in my setup with how I've got everything. So those should dry in the next week or two. You're going to be seeing this video on Wednesday, the 22nd of July. So by the end of this month, the plants should be done drying. And then I will give them 2 weeks to cure before I talk about them for the video. And that'll be the move for that. After doing the grow videos how I did them previously, where it was like an update every couple of months, that felt really unnecessary by the end of it. My first talking point really covered all the bases for how it ended up. It changes a little bit in between a 2-week and a 6-month cure. It changes a little bit. It mellows out a little bit. But the overall profile and effects and everything are roughly about the same. So after about 2 weeks, it should be appropriate to sit and chat about. So we'll do that, and then I'll get it posted. So halfway through August to the beginning of September, you'll be seeing that video. So, and then on to the next grow we go. Here in the next month or so, I'll be starting the winter grow. Don't want to start it too early, of course. So we've got, if I started at say I start at the beginning of September, I've got October, November, December. It'll be all the way through January before I'm ready to wash, roughly. And I should still have plenty of cold days at that point to get that job done. So I think it should be good to start sometime at the beginning of September. Maybe again, as I post that video, I'll be starting a new grow. And in that video, I'll probably talk about what I'm going to do with the grow. I haven't actually decided yet. So it's going to be either the Gangster's Paradise, the Cherry Paloma, or both. I might do something fun. We're going to see how the flavored profiles turn out, how everything goes, and then I will decide. So that's all I have to talk about today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this little cooking sesh. I hung out and made some pretty damn good salsa. And of course, this can be infused however you wish to infuse it. You can, that oil I sprinkled in, you could very well throw in some infused oil or something I'll probably mention in the voiceover there. So yeah, many changes you can make to suit your particular flavor profile. This one I think hits mine pretty well. I enjoy it quite a lot. So just small tweaks here and there to perfect it, but otherwise it's very nice. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you being here. If you did enjoy this, please do drop me a like. I always appreciate seeing those. And of course, that's going to help the channel. Of course, commenting helps a lot, but what helps most is sharing. Please share my content if you would love to see my channel grow, if you would love to see what I do grow and prosper. And hopefully, once the world sees that cannabis content isn't evil. Oops, I said the big word at the end there. Once people see that this content isn't so fucking scary, maybe we can get some acceptance to it, at least in, adult circles. Like, I'm perfectly fine having my videos age gated as long as they make it to an adult audience, as long as it's being recommended, and as long as I'm not being shadow banned, as long as my videos aren't getting deleted every now and again just for no fucking reason apparently. So yeah, I don't know. There's some changes that need to happen, but the way we make those changes is just by pushing acceptance. So please do share my contents around. It helps more than me, honestly. It's, you know, for the culture even. Outside of my own fucking motives and stuff with all this, which I just like making the content. I like cooking food. I like growing cannabis. I like talking about it all. You know, I don't know. It's just fun to do. So yeah. So that's that. That's the most valuable thing you could do to me. And if you are, do to me, do for me. And if you are new and watching this point, thank you so much for checking out the video and watching until the end. Please do subscribe and follow along. I'll have a mix of cooking and gardening type content for you. Cannabis related stuff mostly. But I have to be very careful over here. I have to tiptoe around it, not talk about it too specifically. So it's definitely very interesting to do. So yeah, that's that. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. I'll see you all later. Peace.